How's it going there, Trooper Leaders? It is I, your purveyor of the pages, your gifted, gilded guide of all that is the MCU, Shane, and I'm here with another review of Agatha All Along, Episode 4. If I can't reach you, let my song teach you. Before I go any further, please, I've taught you guys this time and time again, and many of you have passed this test. I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That should be right there so you'll be notified of more reviews like this. We're doing MCU stuff. I should get back to doing Star Wars stuff, honestly, but we also do tons of anime, and I got more video ideas coming along the way. I know it's been a while. I know there's already 2 of these episodes up. Episode 5, I think, is already up. And it's going to be 9 episodes in Agatha All Along. And the last 2 episodes are going to be shown on the same day. So, yay. I already have like 6. I literally have 6 shows I'm reviewing. Well, this show, like 5 other animes. So, not complaining. It's just fall seems to be really busy. So, that I don't fall behind, let's talk about this episode now. Remember, last time I spoke to you, Mrs. Hart, Sharon, she tragically met her end due to that first trial. I'm still wondering, I thought her name was Mrs. Davis. I thought she corrected her to say Mrs. Davis. Or maybe everyone still calls her Mrs. Hart because that's what Agatha introduced her as. I don't know. But the recap was Alice heavy, and so I'm like, okay, it's all about Alice. Oh yeah, that I didn't even get what I even wrote that down. Didn't even put 2 and 2 together. I am smirked. So it's all about Alice, and I do like how this setting, the road itself, allows for these characters to stop, take breaks, talk about what's going on, because they're going through some traumatizing shit. Just put it out there. It allows them to talk, such as we learn about how Jennifer Kale was bound, right? She's an 11th generation root worker and midwife, and she went to the Obstetrician Association of Greater Boston. She thought she was going to be sharing knowledge and you know, not just sharing knowledge, but kind of one of those meet and greets where you give knowledge, you get knowledge, and you just network and you meet more people. But no, it was a man, probably the white dude from the last episode, who bound her. It was a trap for her. He bound her, and she doesn't know, like, how someone who's non-magical could do that. There seems to be more in that story than meets the eye. I wonder if if the guy was like a monster / witch hunter, like Elsa Bloodstone's people were. This is following after she was able to heal Teen. She got praised by Lilia for doing that. Lilia, initially in my notes, because I almost forgot this, she doesn't tell a lot, although, you know, when we come back, she's talking about, they're showing battle scars, and she has fangs markings right here. This was after, this is when a vampire bit her, and afterwards she knocked out his other fang. So she kind of is the mom, like she's the older witch in the group, and she's kind of giving mom vibe. She even tells Alice it's better to be sad than angry, because Alice initially, you know, when her mother passed away, she stopped, you know, believing all the things she told her, and she was so angry, and she was afraid of partially going to the road, not only because her mother told her the road is going to keep her safe, or save her, I should say. She was afraid of letting go of that anger because it would make her sad. And Lilia tells her sad is better than angry, which it is. To an extent, it is. I can agree with that, because anger makes you lash out, makes you destroy things. You can do things that you don't mean out of anger. Sadness, you can do things that you don't mean out of sadness as well. But sadness, once you've accepted your sadness, you're able to work through it. Sadness is a lot easier to work through than anger and rage. I understood it. Rio. So, how is Rio here? Miss Hart died, right? They still need a green witch, and she was literally summoned by them. They did a little ceremony thing where they said they have to be specific about what they were looking for, because they're on the road is tricky, and again, you're doing works and spell works and stuff. So if I remember correctly, I got some phone notes here. Agatha was like someone who's smart and not annoying and doesn't piss her off. Lilia had like the most, I think she had, was it Lilia? Lilia had the most, I guess, I don't want to say sane, but the most practical advice, practical ask. Just give me 2 seconds here. She wants someone strong and good at her craft. The thing that Agatha added is not too political, which is just, that was funny. That was funny for several reasons. Jen said, may she be pleasant looking. Yeah, pleasant looking. And Teen added nothing because he's technically in the Coven. But Alice said, can she bring some Advil? Which I don't think she brought Advil. Maybe she has it, but maybe she doesn't. Now, what's crazy about that whole scene is she came out of the ground where they buried Mrs. Hart. And I said for a second, oh, shit. And even though I knew she was coming back, I knew she was appearing, right? Aubrey was going to come back. Rio was going to come back. Seeing her do the twisted zombie thing, and then she's here, and she's like, when I say, are you a green witch? She's like, less a green witch, more the green witch. Very demonic voice, right? She fits in the series so well. And while I am partially upset that she's not a character that was already in the comic books, because we have this issue where we make new characters and then you kill him like you did Phil Coulson. Remember, Phil Coulson died in the first Avengers movie after being in Thor, Iron Man's 1s and 2. I know there was another movie he was in. We do get to see him in flashbacks. You know, we got to see him in Captain Marvel. But, you know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ain't necessarily canon. That's a studio thing. I can talk about that in a separate video if you want me to. Leave a comment down below if you want me to talk about that. But when we have this character, we got Rio. And I enjoy Aubrey's acting so much. And she fits this show. I'm going to be so annoyed if she gets killed at the end of it, or if we don't see her again. And they being Marvel or their advertising, you need to still start telling people, hey, these shows are important. They provide a backbone, but it's the stories we can't tell within an hour to 2 hours. Have fun and watch these. Although Werewolf by Night is still probably one of the best things they've done, and that might just be a flat 2 hours. Yeah, it might be. I don't remember. I have to go back and look at it again. But Rio's here. She is chaos incarnate. We get such huge hints about what has gone on in the past between her and Agatha. Agatha, when she's bullshitting, saying, "Oh, you only really need 2, witches to finish down the road. Just getting the initial people to open it up. That's just a precursor." But when asked by Alice how many, were left in your coven when you got to the end, she put up her finger 1, and it's easy to assume that Rio is that one. I mean, you can tell that they were romantically involved. And now that I'm at the 9-minute mark, I get to say this. You can tell they were fucking. I apologize to anybody that doesn't like the cursing, but this is just, but they were. Or they were fucking. And it's very obvious, especially going back to that scene in the music booth when they get to the next house of the road, right? And she's like, adventure and a little bit of fun, like old times of truce, and just kind of rubbing on each other's thighs. And it's like, oh, I see. This is a jilted lovers kind of thing. And it definitely is, especially when we get towards the end of this episode. After Agatha shows some concern for Teen, who was hurt, I will get to that in a moment. She comes up from behind her, kind of touching her hair, and they turn around and they embrace. The first actual time they embrace. And what's so great about this scene is the amount of silence that's in it. But it's so loud, right? It's so quiet, but it's so damn loud because you can just cut how tense it is, whether it's sexual tension or physical tension. Like, it's thick, and they're hugging. And then right before Agatha's about to kiss her, she's like, "That boy's not your son." And Agatha's just kind of just like, either out of frustration or anger or whatever, and just kind of walks off, right? And when they're talking about the scars thing, because Agatha does, show this. She got it with a knitting needle. Asked, hold on, wait. I definitely want to get this name right. No. It was some type of society. I think it was Daughters of Liberty. You ever heard Daughters of Liberty? And everybody's like, no. She's like, exactly. And Rio says, I got a scar. She's like, no, you don't. Because it's so funny. I appreciate how these characters are smart. Like, if this was kind of like any other comic book show, not even just Marvel show, some people would just be like, oh, that's weird, but then we're going to forget about it. No, a lot of the characters are very aware. And it's like it's so deeply obvious that something's going on between them. Because Teen calls, he's like, should we be worried that she's here? Like, what's going on? And of course, Agatha, being the annoying main character, because she's not a protagonist, main character, just doesn't tell anybody anything. That's literally her whole, I don't want to say vice, but that is her flaw. I typically get annoyed with those type of flaws when I watch shows, but I appreciate in this one that there's a lot of more common sense to balance out those flaws. So, not to interrupt myself again, when Rio says, oh, I have scars too, there was a long time ago, I loved someone and I had to do something I didn't want to do, but it was my job and it hurt them. She is my scar. And she directly looks at Agatha, who kind of looks at her, and then Agatha walks off. And of course, Lily grabs her arm and it's like, I didn't forget what you said in the sound booth. We'll get to that in a second, which will be 2 seconds. But Rio doesn't give a shit, right? Because she just scoffs and goes, just like hisses. When they resurrected her, she's just skipping down the road like it's the yellow brick road. Even again, Lilia once again says, that is one scary bitch. And she can hear, and she just turns around, she's smiling. And you even have moments where Jennifer Kale's like, when they've all been cursed, and she's like, what are you smiling for? And Agatha's like, she's a Taurus, she's psycho. And she's like, yeah, I am psycho. She fits this so much. It is insane. And I feel like we were robbed. Because instead of doing the whole Mrs. Hart got killed thing, which we got to sell, we got to sell how dangerous this place is, right? Can't have everybody escape. So we'll insert a character that you saw back in 2020. And we'll put her here. By the way, she's the mom from that 70s show, guys. You all love her dead. So that's the way you do it. I understand that. But I'm also intrigued on what she would have saw when she did the little sip of the potion. That's just what would intrigue me, right? Oopsies. So, we're going to talk about Agatha just a little bit. Let's talk about, once again, something I brought up, in fact, at the end of my last review. Are we supposed to feel some type of sympathy and bad for Agatha? The show is letting you decide that for yourself. Possibly, kinda. Because, guys, you got to remember back in WandaVision, she didn't really give a shit. She killed a dog. Didn't give a shit about that. She didn't give a shit about, putting the kids, they were made real, so putting the kids in danger and trying to steal Wanda's power for herself to do whatever it is that she wanted to do. Right? Right. And then you got to remember the flashbacks where she killed everybody in her coven. And that's a no-no. And just her being a generally unpleasant asshole. So it just makes you wonder, are we supposed to? And the closer we are to creeping up on what actually happened to her son, because even when Teen says, what happened to your son? She just walks off, heel up, blah, 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 blah. After watching over him, he had a piece of glass stuck in his abdomen. And she even which is funny that when Rio tells her he's not your kid, she seems upset and walks off. But even she, sits and tells him, you're not my son. You're not my kid. But again, we get information that witches don't use sigils as much because the person who put the sigil on to put the protection and make them forget, it works on them too. That's why they don't use them as much, which is some new lore. I've never heard of that being the case for sigils. Like in other media, you just do a sigil. You remember that you did the sigil, but the sigil's down there because you're not supposed to mess with it anymore or whatever. Okay. Interesting little feedback. I guess they did that to put up more of the mystery. But she's actively, and actually, Jennifer Kell said it best, completely callous when it comes to Mrs. Hart being dead. Winking at Ting, saying, I didn't know you had it in you, as he's digging a grave for her. Alice helping as well. Just making tons of jokes when she's like, why is everybody so quiet? She's like, someone has died, Agatha. And she just does a flip of her hair and twirls her little coat and is like, all right, let's go. Well, they can finish up. Let's just go. And still lies. Just goes, R.I.P. Mrs. Hart. Bruh. That's fucked. That is fucked up. Slightly, it's funny in how shocking it is, but this is the character that we're supposed to develop some type of sadness for. Can I blame Thanos or can I blame Killmonger? It's kind of a combination of the two, because I saw someone make a comment a long time ago, can we not get any more sympathetic villains? And I'm kind of on their side. It was talking about Moana 2, the villain. And everyone, they keep wanting to make, we want you to be able to, see and understand their reasons. But then they do something really off the wall and it's like, oh yeah, they can't be around. I mean, whatever happened to the villain that's just evil, knows they're being evil and just likes it, right? I mean, that's how original Thanos was. Original Thanos was like, I'm killing everybody because I got the hots for death. Yeah, it's a bad thing. I don't give a shit. I'm Thanos. I do what I want. Killmonger in the comics original, just evil. It started with him, then they went to Thanos. They tried to do that with Ghost and just kind of made an uninteresting kind of mess. But yeah, now we're doing it with Agatha, where it's like, are we supposed to feel bad? Like she did a thing. Maybe, and I have a theory. I usually tell my theories at the end. Maybe the quest on the road, she was trying to find the Darkhold. They were trying to find a way for her and Rio to be together. Because remember, they are centuries old. They're back in the old days when, they were still out there burning witches and whatnot. Maybe she was forced to have this kid and had to make a decision. She still came to love the baby because the baby came from her. I don't know if Agatha is actually just gay, or she's bisexual gay. But there is something there where her romance with Rio and her having a kid, somewhere in there conflicted. Perhaps Rio was hired by the ones that were chasing her before. If she gets that Darkhold, you need to kill her. And Rio had confessed maybe that's why her intention, whole reason for being there. I'm supposed to kill you, but I can't because I love you, baby. I don't know. That's just a partial theory on my point. But we're going back to Agatha here. It's just, I don't know how we're supposed to feel about it. But the meat of the episode, again, Alice-centric. She didn't even want to walk into the house, and I love the visual of her actively turning around like, I'm not going in that house. And the road tailors itself to the Coven. As soon as she turns around, they walk down, the house is there anyway. Doesn't matter where you go, you have to go through it. And of course, crescent moon phase, fire phase. You knew it was going to do something with fire. I do love the creepiness of when they're looking around. It's set in the 70s, so very, very obvious that this is what are these people called? The WandaVision people, because they love their period pieces. Not being mean about it, just like, I get it. You're good at a thing, so do the thing you're good at. Oops, gotta change the page. That was all my Agatha stuff. So, creepiness, like Kale's looking at these masks, and she looks at one particular, and you see eyes in it, and then eyes disappear. There's a stained glass mirror of witches burning, which was a big hint that I would have never gotten until we find out that Alice has a generational curse where it's like a deep mark. It would be on the right side, but since this camera's flipped, deep mark on her shoulder here, that everyone else got cursed because the record of her that her mother played, her version of the Ballad of the Road, played backwards, cursed them all. And she is the protection expert. When Lilia started to get on fire and feel like she was burning, she did the little circle with Rio's knife, and she did it for Jennifer, and Jennifer did not want to get out that circle. I don't blame you, girl. And it's just causing so much, I won't say damage, but so much chaos. Because again, Rio is there for the chaos. Ting gets knocked through the window. That's how you get hurt. The window of the booth. And he's like, I guess I am part of the Coven. Blessings and burdens. And Lily's like, there's no blessings with this group. But in this setting here is when Rio and Agatha were going to make their little truce. Because she's like, I'm getting antsy. I want to do something crazy. She wants to kill Agatha. I wonder why she wants to kill Agatha. Is that her own personal curse? Or is it just like, she genuinely said she hated her in episode 1. What is going on here? And of course, Agatha presses down on the loudspeaker button here. She's like, well, tell me what you think is going to happen. Well, you're going to let a trail of bodies as you go to get your power back, or let all these people die, and I'm just going to collect my bodies. And they're all like, hey, what does that mean? It's like, come on, guys. And I love how Rio just, oh, well, y'all heard. It's not much of a secret. I don't really, if you ask me about it, I'm not going to tell you. It doesn't really matter. And again, I said I levied. I like how the show has the characters be smart. Agatha's thinking like, he's probably my kid, because we don't know. And Rio's like, he's not your kid, without even having to have the conversation. I appreciate how smart that is, because then it's like just talking to the audience. We're telling you that's not the kid, but is it? Tee-hee. Back to the generational curse thing. Apparently, the song that her mother made, Lorna, the ballad was a large protection spell. Agatha came to the conclusion, or helped us come to that conclusion, by saying this type of curse you should have been burned up and killed a long time ago. And the reason why you weren't is because somewhere around the world, somebody was singing a version of that song that you hate so much. And I'm like, that's actually kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool that her mom made a protection spell with that. Now, we do get to something that I don't look up reviews on these things. I refuse, because I'm just trying to have my own opinion. Sometimes I'll watch something after the fact, but a lot of times I don't do that anymore, just because a lot of bad takes out there, and people make bad takes just so they can get the clicks and the views. But I wonder how people felt about the singing in here, because in order to, get rid of the curse, they had to do singing. It was very obvious because there was a metronome clicking back and forth. Rio was on drums. Alice took the piano. I don't really think Jen played anything, because she's just like, I didn't play an instrument. Lilia played the zills, which are those little tiny, they look like cymbals on the drums, just the zills. But she also played the maracas and the tambourine, which is funny seeing her switch instruments every time. Ting took the guitar. And of course, Agatha, your main character, sang. I guess on a bit of dialogue that almost made me cringe, but I understood where it was coming from, where she was telling Alice, stop playing half-heartedly and play it like a witch. And I said, that kind of makes sense, since you're supposed to put your magical energies into what you're doing. Because at one point, when she starts feeling it, with everything around them lighting on fire, you do see like a little crackle on the piano keys. So I get it. In the moment, I was like, but I get it. Eventually, she's able to see said curse, which looks like one of the freaking harpies from Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing. So that was nasty. She was the only one that could see it, by the way. Which I didn't know you could pass on a generational curse to other people, but that's just how this is, right? But yeah, she's able to see it, and she's like, I can kill it. And they're doing the instrument thing, and they're jamming out. She's talking about, my song reach you, and it's gonna teach you, a preacher, son of a preacher. And it burns up. They get rid of it. I do like that the way out was inside the piano. That's actually pretty cool. Just like the other way out was through the oven. Pretty fun stuff. Some other specific things that I want to talk about here. Team, when they were talking about Mrs. Hart passing away, there was a lot of blame going on, right? So one blame was like, well, hey, Jen, Mrs. Hart drank 2 glasses of wine. How much was she supposed to drink? She's like, my fault. Agatha did this, Lily did that. And Ting said, no, all of us are to blame. We're supposed to protect one another. We're supposed to be acting as one. And he's right. But he's wrong. It's literally Agatha's fault. Why would you bring a non-magical person into this shit just so you all wouldn't have to grab Rio when you end up having to summon Rio anyway? I don't know. I didn't even say in my notes. I blame Agatha. Next time. What is happening next time? I forget I didn't write down what was going to be on the next episode. But I'm still wondering, was there a ritual that forced Agatha to have the baby and then rip it from her? Don't know. Agatha gave a half smile and Rio looks pain towards the end. I don't know. I didn't even write down what name of the next episode is. The title of the song is very symbolic, especially for Alice. If I can't reach you like my song teach you, it's almost so overt that you go, but you don't get it until you watch it. Yeah, that boy probably is her son. Although I'm still thinking that, he bears a lot of not resemblance, but his attitude kind of reminds you of Wiccan. And I thought we were going to be introduced to Wiccan in this series. Unless Wiccan is his black boyfriend. That would be funny. That the son of Agatha and the son of Wanda ends up dating. That would be funny. All in all, 5 out of 5 because of the character moments. The character moments were really, really good. I actually enjoyed the singing part because it wasn't bad. I enjoyed it for what it was, but the character moments are really, really, really good. I'm interested though in seeing if we're gonna get if Agatha's just gonna stick to her bitchy ways at the end, or if there's gonna be more of a change into the character she was in the 1980s comics, which is not really a force for bad, but more neutral than anything. I can see a character like this being neutral, and I like this show. It reminds you of what comic books are, and it's not like, Spider-Man doing a web and Superman doing a punch, or, big team books coming together. It's, in the essence of comics is to tell stories, for you to see pictures and words and for it to tell a story. It kind of harkens back to the little bit of amazing fantasy that I've read, or even stuff like this that came out. I think this was in 2022, Crypt of Shadows, multiple characters telling multiple stories. That's what this feels like, a comic book. In that sense, it feels like a comic book, true believers. So I'm having a good time. If you're enjoying the show, let me know if you're having a good time down in the comment section below. 5 out of 5 episode. I'm hoping more secrets are uncovered than the next one. I'll try to have it out before next Wednesday. So let me know what you think. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified of more reviews like this one. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Thank you for taking some time out to listen to me talk about Agatha all along. True believers, please be good, be blessed. Drink some water. Be good to yourselves, be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk. Remember that you matter and you are good enough. There are people out there that care about you. So reach out to somebody. There's someone out there that would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. If you want to help me even further, my social medias are in the description below. Give me a follow, send me a message, but so is my Patreon link. Hit up that Patreon link. Give whatever you can. It will surely be appreciated. Until next time, the spooky season never ends. I got more work to do. I'll see y'all really soon. Excelsior!